The Georgian woman is an enigma, strong and independent, but also sensitive and loving. Georgia distinguishes itself as a country where traditions and customs play a crucial role in the lives of its inhabitants, and Georgian women fully support this approach. This encompasses both common practices throughout the country and particular customs rooted within their own families. Georgian women are happy to follow the guidelines they learned during their youth. For example, they show no objection to the traditional assignment of roles in the family and rarely challenge authority. It is highlighted that Georgian women present a surprising modernity in various aspects, such as pursuing higher education for a professional career. However, her romantic interest is limited to one man at a time, rejecting the idea of becoming involved with two people simultaneously. They are not enthusiastic about serial dating and are extremely selective in choosing their partner. They long to find their ideal partner early on and want the relationship to last forever. For Georgian women, cooking goes beyond meeting the family's nutritional needs, and cleaning is not simply a way to maintain a healthy home environment. For them, both tasks represent accessible and effective methods of caring for their loved ones. When it comes to family matters, Georgian women make exceptional wives and even more outstanding mothers. Their affection and deep loyalty guarantee unwavering attention and companionship from their husbands. They do not consider housework annoying or time-consuming. On the contrary, they seek to improve the lives of their families, and they see this work as one of the best ways to achieve this. You may not meet a Georgian woman at the moment, but we are firmly convinced that by starting to date one of them, you will appreciate her treatment so much that you will not want the story to come to an end. Georgian wives are also ready to make sacrifices for the well-being of the family. They can quit their job, move to a foreign country, or opt for significant changes in their lives if that's what their families need. A Georgian wife sets herself up as the one responsible for the fun in her family. It always finds the ideal activity for everyone, facilitating family unity and harmonious coexistence. Would you like to discover where to meet Georgian women and what is the secret to conquering them? Stay until the end of the video because it will surprise you. Help us by supporting this video with a like and subscribe for more content. But before revealing all the keys, we are going to discover some of the most curious facts about this fascinating country so that you can understand its culture in depth. Georgia is a Eurasian country, which means that geographically and culturally it belongs to Asia and Europe. In the world, there are only two other cases of countries that share these characteristics. We are talking about its neighbors, Turkey and Russia. Being a small nation full of attractions, with exuberant nature, an exceptionally diverse climate, and ancient cities and places declared World Heritage Sites. Number 1. Did you know that wine originated in Georgia? Nothing more and nothing less than by accident, more than 7,000 years ago. It occurred in the Caucasus region, and the incident that caused the creation was the incidental fermentation of grapes. Before throwing them away, they realized that they could actually still be used. The rest is history. 2. Georgians call their country Sakartvelo, which means the land where the Kartveli live, one of the ethnic groups that has historically inhabited the country. Another of the interesting curiosities of Georgia is that the ancient Greek historians, they referred to the inhabitants of the eastern part of the country as Iberians and called the area in which they lived Iberia. But this has nothing to do with the Iberian Peninsula. A bit strange coincidence, don't you think? Number 3. The name Georgia that we know internationally today is of English root. It was possibly assigned to this territory when the Crusades passed through there on their way to the Holy Land, in honor of their patron saint, Saint George. 4. Georgia has a territorial area of 57,115 square kilometers. Similar to the size of Croatia, it also has a population of 3,800,000 inhabitants. Number 5. It is also part of one of the most distinctive regions on the European border with Asia. Well, a large part of the country sits on the Caucasus Mountains. 6. This characteristic of a mountainous country and the lack of communication infrastructure causes many mountain towns to remain isolated for most of the winter due to snow. 7. Another of Georgia's curiosities is related to its mountains. It has the 2 highest permanently inhabited settlements in Europe. at 2,345 and 2,100 meters above sea level. Number 8. Thanks to these same mountains, there are magnificent ski resorts in Georgia. Number 9. It is believed that the first Europeans came from Georgia, where they had arrived from Africa. In the excavations of Tbilisi, the skulls of a couple who had been there were found, more than 1,800,000 years. 10. The Soviet leader Joseph Stalin was a native of Georgia, and today in the markets you can still buy portraits of him, being recognized by many as a hero after defeating Nazi Germany, both in Georgia and in other countries of the former Soviet Union. 11. Georgia is a presidential republic famous for its hospitality and excellent cuisine. 12. Throughout history, it was the object of rivalry between Persia, Turkey, and Russia, which annexed it in the 19th century. It gained independence from the Soviet Union in 1991. In 2015, it definitively lost South Ossetia and Abkhazia. 13. Another of the most interesting curiosities about Georgia is that it is one of the countries in the world with the greatest ecological diversity. It has 12 climatic zones and 49 different soil types. 14. In its forests, you can find animals from landscapes usually as different as lynxes, leopards, and bears. Number 15. The language of Georgia is Georgian. It belongs to the group of Kartvelian languages that are unique in the world. Georgian has its own alphabet with 33 letters. Number 16. Does Greek mythology catch your attention? It is said that the coasts of Georgia are those of ancient Colchis, where the Argonauts arrived with Jason in search of the Golden Fleece. Number 17. In some regions of Georgia, in addition to Georgian, other languages of Kartvelian origin, such as Megrelian, Laz, and Svan, are spoken, and all their speakers are bilingual. 18. One of the curiosities of Georgia is that the Georgian language does not have genders. Whether you're talking about him or her, the gender will be neutral. 19. The second most spoken language in this country is Russian due to the Russification of which they were a part for decades. Number 20. Many different ethnic groups live in Georgia. Among them, Georgian Jews stand out, making up one of the oldest Jewish communities in the world. Number 21. If you are going to greet someone you don't know in Georgia, you should be careful and very respectful. Here, the greeting is done by shaking hands. Kisses on the cheek and hugs are reserved for family and close friends. Number 22. The Chakrilo, a Georgian folk song. It was sent into space on the Voyager spacecraft, containing samples of human culture and a welcome recording. To greet possible extraterrestrial civilizations, what do you think they would think of us? Number 23. Georgian food is succulent, rich, and varied. Each region has its own specialties, and it is a cuisine that has been exported very well to neighboring countries. An example is khachapuri. It is a bread filled, mainly with cheese, to which other ingredients can be added. 24. We also find the kinkali, made up of huge, juicy ravioli that are sprinkled with black pepper. 25. In the country's cuisine, many dishes are prepared in a special stone or brick oven called bukhari. 26. One of the most typical desserts of Georgian food is church kella, a type of candle that is made with walnuts dipped in concentrated fruit juice. 27. Among the curiosities of Georgia is the production of wine, which is done in clay jugs called kvevri. This type of traditional production was named Intangible Heritage of Humanity by UNESCO. 28. Another of the most interesting curiosities of Georgia is that the deepest cave in the world is located here. With 2,149 meters inwards, it is called the Raven's Cave and is located on the border with the region claimed by Abkhazia. 29. Georgian wine is very popular in this part of Europe and Asia. Its preparation is usually carried out by rural communities and has been carried out for at least 8,000 years. 30. Choral music is another of Georgia's traditions that has also been named by UNESCO as an intangible cultural heritage of humanity. 31. Georgians are a traditionally religious people. More than 80% of the population says they belong to a church, highlighting in this country the presence of the Catholic Church and the Jewish religion. 32. According to some polls, its Catholic Patriarch, the head of the Georgian Orthodox Church, is the most respected person in Georgia with an acceptance of more than 90%. 33. In the country, you will find numerous churches of great beauty, such as Tbilisi or the Svetoslava Cathedral from the 4th century. 34. Another of Georgia's curiosities is found in the impressive Vardzia Monastery, with its more than 6,000 rooms excavated in the rock, including the church. 35. If you travel to the country, you may be surprised by one of the most deeply rooted Georgian customs. Especially among the elderly, men usually walk arm in arm. 36. This does not mean that they are tolerant of homosexuality. It is simply one of the customs of Georgia. 37. When two Georgians greet each other, they shake hands and say Gamarjoba, which would be like saying hello, but you are actually telling the other person, may you succeed. What a particular and beautiful greeting, don't you think so? 38. Georgian society is thought to be an extremely welcoming people. A saying from the country says, "A guest is a gift from God." 39. If you get to the town of Chazhashi, you will see another of the most touristy attractions of Georgia. It is an extremely well-preserved example of medieval architecture in which there are more than 200 houses with a defense tower. They were used as protection during invasions between the 9th and 12th centuries. 40. The flag of Georgia is known as the Flag of Five Crosses and has its origins in the Middle Ages. 41. The Georgian currency is called lari, and its fraction is the tetri. To give you an idea, 1 Georgian lari is equivalent to 33 cents. 42. The capital of Georgia is Tbilisi, although Georgians call it Tbilisi. The name comes from the hot springs that were discovered there in the 5th century. Tbilisi in Georgian means warm, and Tbilisi could be translated as warm place. It is also listed as the 6th safest capital in the world. 43. Do you remember the famous Silk Road, which linked Europe, China, and India? This crossed some areas of Georgia, such as its part of the Black Sea. 44. The most important river crossing Georgia, the McFerry, runs through the country's capital and divides it into Georgia East and Georgia West. 45. Another of the curiosities of Georgia is that in 2017, it was declared the 10th cheapest country to live in. Renting a one-bedroom apartment in the capital Tbilisi does not cost more than 150 euros, and a bus ticket is around 20 cents. 46. Formerly, there were other capitals in Georgia, Moscow and Kutaisi. Both are among the 16 oldest cities in Europe. Moscow was founded about 3,000 years ago. In both cities, there are monuments declared World Heritage Sites by UNESCO. 47. Traditional Georgian architecture is a mix of European and Asian styles. Here we can find castles and churches, but we will also see Asian temples, fortresses, and art. 48. St. George is the country's patron saint, and in the center of Georgia's capital, there is a giant golden statue of the saint slaying the dragon. 49. However, don't think that everything is tradition in Georgia. There is also a passion for futuristic architecture here, as demonstrated by the Parliament building in Kutaisi. 50. Ilia Topuria has become a mass idol after becoming UFC champion, representing both Spain and Georgia. After discovering these fascinating facts about Georgia, would you like to visit it? As we promised at the beginning, we are going to reveal to you some keys so that you can meet a Georgian woman. On the exciting journey to meet Georgian women, the key lies in immersing yourself in the rich culture of Georgia. Whether participating in local festivals and cultural events, enjoying delicious cuisine in local cafes and restaurants, or sharing common interests in sports activities, each experience contributes to building meaningful connections. Showing respect for Georgian traditions and customs, as well as expressing sincerity and authenticity in interactions, are essential elements. Plus, learning some basic Georgian phrases can be an appreciated gesture. However, the final secret to meeting and conquering Georgian women lies in visiting Georgia in person. Traveling to this charming country not only offers the opportunity to explore its fascinating culture, but also provides the opportunity to establish deeper and more authentic connections with Georgian women. This is the best way to understand and appreciate the uniqueness of their lives and traditions. So get ready for an enriching experience in the heart of the Caucasus. Thank you very much for coming this far. Remember to support our work by giving us a like and subscribing to our channel. See you on the next adventure, passionate travelers.